Good afternoon, everybody. Jumping right in. I am an associated member of T3 Trading Group, which is an SEC registered broker-dealer and member of SIPC. All of my trades are placed through T3 Trading Group, and you should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your own financial condition. There's the position disclosure. I got back into some BYON, not too big post-earnings. I got into a little bit of S when they were down big as a secondary to the Palo Alto networks. I got into very small Roku. I'm like at day 2 or 3, whatever it is, downside. I think it's day 3. That thing's been getting absolutely smoked. We got problems too. Very small. So the new long editions are small. And like I said in the morning meeting, I'm really still trying to lean into this TQQ as much as I can on the short side right now until we get some of these market concerns. And we're about to potentially get through one of these market concerns in 8 minutes with NVDA. This NVDA earnings report is like the most hyped earnings report that I can remember. I think the implied for NVIDIA is what, $65? So you're looking at like 615 on the downside and 735 or so on the upside. Just off the implied move. So we'll see if that comes together or not. What else reported? We got Sunrun is out. Sunrun is out. Doesn't seem to be moving too much on its report here. Missed on revenue. Okay, whatever. How about Etsy? Etsy down a bit after hours here, down like $4 or so. Looks like. They missed on EPS, 62 cents versus 78 cents, and beat on revenue. Not seeing any guidance. We got Bros out. Looks like it's all over the place. Dutch Bros. Trading flattish after hours right now. EPS misses, rev beats. I see they're just EBITDA in line roughly. And rev is a small miss. 2024 expected revenue. We got Lucid out. Not looking good. Trading down. Just down a few percent at the moment. I feel like Lucid or Rivian have to go bankrupt. Rivian is the only Rivian should go bankrupt, which is also out. Except that I think that this is a midlife crisis trade for Jeff Bezos. He's got Amazon involved. So a certain they probably bail Rivian out. But Rivian reports a loss of $1. I mean, this company is going to lose. I talk about it every single earnings quarter and Rivian reports. This company is just planning on losing billions and billions of dollars. And at a time right now where every company is really working towards profitability right now, with interest rates being up, that's what the market's rewarding. I feel like Rivian is still years away from profitability. Fourth quarter, they lost $1.36 per share versus an estimated loss of $1.39. Revenue did beat $1.32. $1.32 billion versus estimates of $1.28 billion. They cut 10% of jobs. The vehicle production guidance is a miss. 57,000 vehicles expected. 57,000 vehicles versus 80,000 expected. The guide fiscal year 24 adjusted EBITDA. They're really only going to make 57,000 cars. Wow. Yeah, his numbers are not great. Well, anyway, we got even 5 minutes, which is most definitely going to interrupt this afternoon meeting. I'm sure I'll have to be managing my T2 position around the move. We'll see what happens here. But let's take a few minutes and dive into the market a little while we wait. So the big question again that we've been asking ourselves these last couple mornings is the market, is the S&P and the NASDAQ, which has been much closer, potentially breaking the uptrend that it's been in. When this beautiful pattern of higher highs and higher lows since the beginning of November, the warning sign here is, well, there's multiple warning signs, and a lot of it comes from our positioning and sentiment data, which is really starting to get more and more cooked. But the technical warning is this potential lower high from February 16th after the CPI sell-off and subsequent bounce. So that's a lower high that's only confirmed if we lose the CPI low, which we're still a little ways away from here for the SPYs, especially with this incredible rally we had in the close. Weak all day. You think we're closing on lows? Well, you better think again. This rally here, 40 minutes, was more than the range of the entire market for the entire day. And it was just insane. And it honestly totally changed the picture. That last 40 minutes of the daily chart candle and of the daily chart. It looked like we were set to close on lows into the 21 EMA. And the weak NVDA report gets you below the CPI day low and ruins the trend. It is still possible that a weak NVDA report gets you below the CPI low and ruins the trend. But we won't know about that for another 3 minutes here. So far for the SPYs, they're holding into this equilibrium zone. They bounced into the close. The uptrend is still intact. What about the Qs? Because the Qs have been a bit more in this danger zone. Yesterday, they flirted with losing the CPI day low. They lost the intraday but closed above, which is 425.33. And this morning we were set to open below it. We did open below it. And honestly, it looked like we were going to lose our uptrend on the daily chart. This rally in the last 40 minutes was actually enabled us to close above 425.33 for the second day in a row. So somehow, by the skin of its teeth, the Qs here are still holding on to the technical definition of their uptrend, pattern of higher highs and higher lows by 20 cents. So I can just about promise you that the video here will either confirm that the Qs are staying in their trend or cause us to lose that trend. And we're going to find that out in now 2 minutes. The most hotly anticipated trend. And we're going to find that earnings report that I can. There's an echo on YouTube. Sorry about that, guys. Probably just fixed it. So we are whatever. We're waiting here. We're about to find out. I didn't say anything important. Don't worry. That's all I got. That's all I got for the moment. While we wait, what's the IWM look like? Yeah, the Russell, I don't know. It was very boring today. It was weak. Closed down 0.6% on the day. We lost the 198 to 198.50 important support level, but we're still above 196. Overall, we are just within the range. We're just within the range of the IWM's range that it's been in for the entire calendar year so far. So, again, big earnings report about to come out here for NVIDIA. So let's switch up the charts a little bit. Let's get some pre-market charts up in here. Let's get a NVIDIA chart up in here. 1 minute. So I'll definitely look at this thing at like 735 on the upside if it gets up there, that measured move. I kind of think the risk is to the downside in this thing with this report. $20 seconds. $10 seconds. 5 seconds. Is AI the future? We'll find out now. And nothing yet. Where are the robots? Where are the robots? How come they haven't gone crazy? Alright, well, I guess we're not seeing it yet. I think it's supposed to come out at 20 after. But these companies, they can delay if they want to. But it takes away some of the excitement. Little uptick. It's a very little uptick.
There we go. Trying to manage this T-triple-Q position. 596. There we go. There we go. 806. I was able to short a bunch of T-triple-Q into that uptick. Is that low? 1. NVDA revenue beats 22.1 billion versus estimates of 20.4 billion. Automotive revenue, I don't know if that one matters, it beats. Gaming revenue, 2.9 billion versus estimates of 2.7 billion, beats. I just covered more T-triple-Q. Data center revenue, 18.4 billion versus estimates 17.2. That's all solid. I think that the guidance is what matters most here. They see Q1 revenue 24 billion plus or minus 2%, estimates of 21.9 billion. They crushed it. They crushed it. But it's apparently not enough for the moment. Sorry. Trading. This is going to be an interesting one. This is kind of what I thought was going to happen. I kind of thought that they were going to put up good numbers, but NVIDIA says generative AI has hit the tipping point, whatever that means. I kind of thought that they were going to post really good numbers. It's just a question of this whisper number. The expectations here of this market are just getting a little crazy, I think. But their numbers are solid. So it's going to be really interesting just to see the reaction more than anything. Data center sales to China declined significantly in the fourth quarter due to U.S. government licensing requirements. I don't think that's unexpected. Sorry, I haven't been able to really watch the NVIDIA price action because this T-triple-Q position I'm in is moving so crazy. Be able to be caught up. That initial uptick was awesome for me, honestly. Upticking back up a little bit. Big uptick, big downtick. I got partial. I'm almost caught up here to where I need to be. All right. NVIDIA 1.4 billion acquisition termination charge in 2024 related to the proposed ARM transaction in the prior year. So I wonder if that's negatively impacting what the numbers look like, and those one-off charges usually don't matter. What is this NVIDIA doing here? All over. I'll tell you what it's not doing. It's not doing anywhere near its measured move. At least not yet. Okay. Interesting, right? We're up $9, $8 after hours. I mean, the numbers, you can't look at, beat on every number that I'm seeing here. You can't look at those numbers and say they're bad. It's just, again, it's a matter of what they're pricing in. And the expectations on this earnings report are just so massive. And honestly, these numbers are great. These numbers are great. They see Q1 revenue at $24 billion versus an estimate of $21.9 billion. So they beat their revenue guidance for Q1 by over $2 billion. Solid. All their fourth quarter numbers are beats that I'm seeing here. That data center revenue number is a huge one. It's a really big beat. This is interesting, and it's interesting also because of the broader implications about the market. What our friend Charlie was saying earlier about how it's kind of crazy that NVIDIA has almost become like a macro event for the market itself. There's just so much hype around all of these names, all of these AI names, everything that's going on. See if it's going to come together or not. And in some ways, I almost feel like a muted move here in NVIDIA, it not doing a whole ton, is like in some ways like the best thing that could happen. You know, it's not going to lead to this market crash necessarily, but it's not going to necessarily lead to a parabolic move. And I think that the market and all these names could really use some rest. We're upticking again here a little bit. NVIDIA working its way back up. Q's working their way back up. Yeah, AMD's up a couple dollars. Yeah. Pretty crazy, if you ask me. Okay. ARM higher. ARM's $5 higher. SMCI is $30 higher from where it closed. Almost seems like some of these stocks are reacting better than NVIDIA on NVIDIA's earnings. NVIDIA new high is approaching 700. What do we say? 735 was the measured move, so it can still get there. 30 bucks away. Yeah, true. By Friday it's got, so who knows? Could easily do it. At this point, we're $25 away. That's like a blink of the eye for NVIDIA. Market is starting to interpret a pretty good earnings report in a positive way. And we got new after hours highs in the Qs. SOXL on the rip. Wow, back up to 38. I might take a look at that tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to trade SOXL here after hours right now. Some of these other AI names I think are moving. This Path, which is an AI-related name, is just upticked pretty decently. AI itself, symbol AI, is up 50 cents. Palantir is upticking now. It seems like the AI story is here to stay. Okay. NVIDIA 740 had a big seller last week. Okay, yeah, it's a spot we'll definitely pay attention to. All right, so, well, what does this do for our picture of the market? Looking more and more for the moment like the SPYs today with that strong rally into the close are going to hold that trend. The big spots to pay attention to on the upside now are the highs from the 16th and the 12th. You break above those highs and we just have our uptrend continuation. And the Qs, which I had just been mentioning, held on to their uptrend pivot low on a closing basis by 20 cents, have now accelerated several dollars beyond that. And the Qs are looking like they are going to keep their trend. Is the IWM moving at all? Even the IWM is trying to uptick 25 cents on this. Look at that. So, yeah, markets are looking really good. NVIDIA earnings are not a disappointment, and I don't care if, you know, maybe it's a disappointment if you're one of the $1,300 call buyers, but I think that this earnings report and this reaction to this earnings report is about as good as you could honestly expect. I kind of thought, you know, as Josh would say, bageled ahead on NVIDIA, that this thing would sell off on almost anything. Almost anything, unless the numbers were extremely good. And honestly, those numbers were extremely good. And even with those numbers being extremely good, the uptick here hasn't even yet fulfilled the measured move on the upside. NVIDIA came through in a really big way, and the market trend here is fully intact. There's still some things to worry about, I think, to some degree, as far as positioning and stuff like that for bulls. But like I've been saying here for like 2 weeks, the trend is your friend. The uptrend for these markets are still intact. You want to assume that the uptrend is going to last until it proves otherwise. We could pay attention to other evidence and other data at certain points to see about warning signals, and those warning signals have manifested. But even within that, if I'm able to find Pat's note from this morning, here it is. I hope everyone took the time to read this Goldman Sachs flow of funds update. But, you know, the risk here from a positioning perspective is to the downside, especially like if you look at the CTAs over the course of the next month. In an up tape, you get $41 billion of buying. In a down tape, you get $175 billion of selling. So the risk is to the downside with a lot of this positioning information. But while the risk is to the downside, it does not mean that this market can't move up. Because it's not like, if you remember, the last time we were really looking at counter positioning for a movement was when at the end of October the CTAs were buyers over the next week and buyers over the next month in any tape, which I still don't think I've ever seen. Usually it looks something like this. In an up tape, CTAs are buying. In a down tape, they're selling. In a flat tape, they're maybe a little bit more neutral, tends to be leaning towards the buy side. But at the end of October, we saw that in any tape, the CTAs were going to have to be buyers in the beginning of November. And that was one of the big signals that we were paying attention to. And why am I saying that the risk is to the downside? Well, because over the course of next month, everything held equal, if the market happens to move down, the selling gets exacerbated by CTA selling, by vol control selling, by a lot of other factors that are there that contribute to this. But in an up tape or a flat tape, there is still buying. it's just less buying. That's the biggest thing, right? It's less buying. This is not a market. This is not a market that can't move higher. This is a market that absolutely can move higher. And the trend is definitely your friend. That trend is still intact. But if you were to lose that trend because NVIDIA disappointed, as an example, which now we're seeing it's not much of a disappointment, then we need to be prepared for the fact that the selling could very, very much lead to more selling. And that's why it's been so important to pay attention to these key pivot lows, especially for the SPYs are most important, but also for these Qs. If these Qs could, on a closing basis, lose the February 13th low, then the market has a problem. And honestly, there's still a chance that this NVIDIA gets sold on this news, but the report is excellent, and the reaction to the report is, in some ways, I feel like as good as you could expect from it. The call for NVIDIA should start at 5. Cool. Yeah. As most CEOs are. So we'll see how that plays out. And I don't know if I really have anything else to talk about. The trading session today was relatively boring. We had the Fed minutes, but they were kind of much ado about nothing as we expected. That led to a little bit of a downtick once they were digested. It seemed like there were contradictory statements almost in the Fed minutes themselves, like, we're concerned about keeping rates too high, but we're also concerned about cutting rates too early. is pretty much what I got out of that, and just some further language on the taper. So overall, it seemed like it was a relatively boring session that was just waiting on the NVIDIA earnings. There were a couple of decent trades out there. There were a couple of good RDR trades out there. I know that we were looking at Penn on a day 4 gap down to be an RDR. I called out that I was buying this thing back through $17, and it worked out pretty well. There was another one. I don't remember what name it was that somebody else called out that I think we were just too late to, that looked like it was giving a pretty good RDR bounce as well. That was like a day 4 to the downside. But I can't remember which symbol it was, to be honest. And that was it. I mean, the price action itself really wasn't too exciting on an intraday basis, though there were a few good trades. And now we see that the trend is still intact for this market. So I don't have anything else really to talk about. I have to get to the DMV, so I don't mind leaving a little early, but I don't mind answering any questions either. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm scrolling up here in the VTF just to see if I missed anything. Doesn't look like I missed anything. Looks like you guys are all waiting for NVIDIA as well. But if anybody has anything, I'm happy to answer questions. I'll give it a minute. We'll take a look at NVIDIA for a price chart update. Still looks healthy, this price action. Pulled off highs, but we're building out an inside 5 here for the moment on NVIDIA, so it's holding in pretty well. And we'll see what the call does. I don't see a world in which the call hurts the stock, to be honest. Like Brand said, the CEO of NVIDIA is a cheerleader, and it's not like it's Elon Musk that we're about to deal with. All right, well, on that note then, I will wrap things up. Unusual afternoon meeting, but, we had an unusual earnings report here that was really important. So have a great night, everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow.